Hi, I'm Renarta Clanton Moyd. I'm a communications specialist with the Cumberland County Schools and your host of Get Connected. During this monthly show, we highlight numerous educational topics that face today's student, educator, and parent in the Cumberland County Schools. Now, one could say ensuring that a child has the necessary skills to survive in this world is the hallmark of Cumberland County Schools' career and technical education program. Educators and various community entities collaborate to prepare students to enter the workforce, serve in the military, or pursue higher education. Now, after this break, we'll talk with administrators from the school system and FTCC about how career and college prep programming are impacting the lives of students on this edition of Get Connected.
It's never too early to start reading to your kids. There are amazing possibilities when you open a child's mind to reading. Explore new worlds. Read.
I'm a single mother of 2 kids. I work a lot. We do miss a lot. He dropped off for a whole month. Sometimes I would talk to him and he wouldn't even turn around and look at me. I just get frustrated because in any way that I talk to him, it just doesn't go through his head. I didn't give up because there's always hope.
Give your teen the boost they need to graduate. Call 1-877-4A-KID or join us at boostup.org for tips and advice.
Again, thanks for joining us for this edition of Get Connected, where we're talking with College Tech Prep Coordinator Pam Gibson and CTE Coordinator Carson Phipps. Pam and Carson, welcome.
It's great to be back.
Good to be here.
All right. You know, you've been with us quite a few times. I think maybe you need to co-host.
Oh, no, that's okay. You do a wonderful job, Renarta.
And Carson, this is your first time,
I'm the rookie, yes.
All right, he's the rookie. Should we break him over the coals?
Oh, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go easy, go easy, go easy.
Well, I'm so glad you guys are here. I really am. And just want to jump off and find out, talk to our audience about what is CTE? What is Career Technical and Education, the program, all about?
Okay, well, probably the best way to start describing it is the way a lot of people still think of it, which is vocational education. It's also been called workforce development. But we're really not the old shop and home ec classes that people equate with vocational ed. We're much more specialized now. We are much more technical. A lot of what we do is STEM focused, science, technology, engineering, and math. We hear a lot about that, and a lot of that is all throughout the courses and the curriculum that we offer. Everything from the things that you traditionally think of in the trades, like the carpentry, to culinary, to health sciences, Microsoft classes, information technology, quite a wide range.
That's good. Now, Carson, I know at one point you worked as one of our educators there.
I was in the classroom as an agriculture teacher for 11 years. Wow. And then took this position a little over a year ago. So I'm in my 13th year in education. And I spent about 20 years in my other life as a sales rep for various agricultural products.
Wow, so that's great. And you know what, and I think that's the great part about the program. A lot of your instructors bring their experiences from working in the world of work with them into the classroom, correct?
A lot of them have that experience, and they're able to, for that student then in their classroom, to see that this person has done this before. It's not just somebody that's taken something out of a book, but they've actually got that real life experience, and that goes a long way.
Now, how do you all, now once you come out of the industry and you're in the classroom, how do you all kind of keep the program sharp and cutting edge? you know, in terms of knowing what's the latest and those types of things?
Well, that's where the partnerships with business and industry are so important. We maintain partnerships with a lot of the business folks, industries, the Chamber of Commerce, and they let us know. We have advisory boards for a lot of our programs, and that's exactly what we rely on them for, is to make sure that what we're doing is cutting edge, as you say.
Okay.
And a lot of the students are going to be their future employees, and so we want them to go out and to be ready to go right to work, and that's how we find out these things, is what they just tell us what we need to be sending to them.
That's great, and this program is so important. And in the introduction, I said a few words, and I want to read this to you, and I want you to expound on it for me. I said, ensuring a child has the necessary skills to survive in this world is the hallmark of the CTE program. Do you agree?
Certainly.
Oh, yeah.
How so?
Well, for one thing, so many of our classes are hands-on. They're also introductory level in the actual career field. So they're not as abstract, if you will. Kids can really see, this is what I would be doing if I went into this industry. They can make that connection between what I'm doing now in high school and my future in the world of work. And then there are other things that we can do in career and technical education, like offering credentialing opportunities. So many of our courses, for example, nursing assistant, or Microsoft Office Specialist, we offer credential opportunities that would help students in the future in the world of work.
Now, when you say credential opportunities, what is that, like a certification or?
Industry recognized credentials or certifications. So, for example, if I was interested in the field of information technology, a lot of our students can go from high school out there and say, I have Microsoft Office Specialist credentials. In some cases, they may have A+ networking credentials, things like that. We have students who graduate from high school and they are nurse assistant, they have Nurse Aid 1 credentials, and so they could go work in the nursing homes or in the hospitals.
No,
and it gives them an advantage, especially when they're going against another person for a particular job. They've got that credential that the employer recognizes. It's an industry recognized credential that they can then either get preferential hiring or maybe even start at a higher pay scale.
That's great. You know, I'm curious to know, what are some of our business partners saying about our young people when they graduate and come out into the workforce here in our local area? What are they saying about these young people?
Well, I mean, they think it's wonderful, some of the opportunities that we are able to give to the students in high school. And I've said it as myself, as I wish I could have done some of these things when I was in high school. But because the kids are giving these advantages, if you will, they're getting a head start on some things, and so they have a much more of a focus, knowing what it is that they want to do and what it is that they're going to be getting into after high school. And of course, we always encourage them to continue education after high school. The credentials are all wonderful, and they do give the students a boost, but in most industries these days, there does need to be some post-secondary training, not necessarily four-year school, but apprenticeship programs or associate degree programs with the community college and things like that. And that's what we want to see the students continue to do. But these students have a better idea of what it is that they're going into.
Now, you know what? For someone who is not quite acquainted with the program, I mean, we've mentioned some, you know, fields, but talk to me a little bit about the types of hands-on and on-the-job experiences this program offers.
Well, that's where it really plays or pays for a student that is what we call hands-on. There are some that are going to be really strong with the books and be able to just get whatever it is that the teacher throws out to them. There's others that will really excel when there's a hands-on part of it. I was an ag teacher, so when we were in the greenhouse, either sowing seeds or rooting cuttings or whatever it may have been, that's where somebody really was going to excel in that. They really shined in those areas. We might be doing landscaping out on the grounds and those kinds of things, so they could see that and say, this is what I really want to go into.
And what are some of the programs? What are some other programs? I know it's culinary and...
Culinary, the health sciences program. We have a course called Nursing Fundamentals. We have a variety of business courses.
Drafting, carpentry, cabinet making. I could go on and on and on.
Public safety.
Public safety, criminal justice. We have a firefighting academy, so yes, it's very extensive.
Wow, that is great. So many opportunities.
Yes.
What? I didn't see all this when I was coming up.
Me neither.
It wasn't around.
It wasn't around. It wasn't around. That's all right. Now, what would you say, and I mean, you've kind of touched on that, but what would you say are some of the benefits of being a part of? If you were talking to a young person that came up and said, well, you know, I don't know if I really want to do this, blah, 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 what would you say?
Well, that's a good starting point because a lot of them don't know where they want to go. So this is a good place for them to get some exploration in. They can find out, well, you know, I was thinking about doing this. Now that I'm in it, it either is or is not for me. And that way they don't make the mistake of going into something and down the road in 4 years in college they say, I really wish I had done something different. So this gives them that exploration. And most all of our programs too have what we call student organizations like FFA in agriculture and FBLA with business, and this gives the students a chance to work together as a team, and they you know, battle some problem that they're trying to work on, and they actually have competitions that they go and compete in, just like an athletic event almost.
Wow. Now, you know what, I know that there's a CTE committee I've heard about. How does the CTE committee play into the program?
Well, this is something that's fairly recent, this particular task force. This came out of a conversation that our superintendent, Dr. Till, had with some of our county commissioners. And what they wanted to know is, first of all, how well is what we're doing in the high schools aligning with the post-secondary opportunities in our area? And then how well is that aligning then with the workforce and economic needs of our community? And so they asked us to form this task force, do kind of a gap analysis, and then make some recommendations for some things. So this committee now has met a few times since August. It involves myself and our executive director, Chip Lucas, and representative from Cumberland County government, from FTCC, from the Chamber of Commerce. And so we did look, and we did find some places where, you know, maybe we need to offer some more things. There, for example, information technology. We felt like there were some more things that we could do there. There's always more you can do with STEM. It's such a broad category. And so we're going to be working together to see what we can do to shore those things up.
Okay, that sounds good. And you know what, I know that CTE month is in February, correct? Okay,
yes.
What can we expect during CTE month?
Well, that's our big push month that where we plug CTE, and so we have career fairs, we invite speakers in, we have field trips, just lots of things going on in the schools.
And it's geared more towards the individual schools rather than a county-wide thing, like this school will do this and this school will do that. Example, when I was an ag teacher, FFA week is also in February, so we tied that into it, and we would do things like, you know, this might sound a little crazy, but we did things like sunflower seed spitting contests, and we did nail driving contests and board sawing contests, and we actually had it like a basketball bracket, and we had a grand champion in the classrooms, and the kids really got into that.
It's just an awareness. It's an awareness. That's great. That is great. That is great. Well, I can't wait to find out. And then if someone wants to be a part of the CTE program, I know we have choice. And that's going on in January or what have you?
Yes, we do have some of our career academies in our high schools are choice programs, and so through the choice program, through the application process, they could seek those opportunities. But even the opportunities in their own high school, when they go through the registration process with their counselor, they just need to voice what their interests are.
Teachers would know, even if they don't teach a particular subject, they would know, I don't teach drafting, but just go down the hall and see, you know, Mr. Jones, he's a drafting teacher. And that way they can get information. There's a CTE facilitator in each high school as well that's very well versed with what's going on with the different programs.
That's good. So either the student could go and seek out, or either mom and dad.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
And they can call our office as well. So.
And what's your office number?
Well, if they call 678-2442, they will get Angel Platt, who is our administrative assistant, and she can direct them in the right place.
Right.
That's good. That's good. All right. Well, you know what? We're getting ready to go to break, okay?
Okay.
Pam, I know you'll be back. Carson, we'll get you on another round, okay?
Sounds good.
But with that in mind, hope you will stay tuned for more Get Connected.
Dropping out of school.
Son, you can't be seriously thinking about dropping out of school.
You have 2 more years of school left, and now you want to drop out of school? I don't know who you think is going to hire you with no education. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking about getting a job.
Where?
Anywhere.
Son, you need to rethink this. You really need to rethink this.
We are currently hiring 2 people for the cashier position. Tell me about your work experience and your education.
I don't really have any experience.
What about school?
I haven't been in a while.
I see. You dropped out. Maybe come back when you drop back in school.
I'm Frank Till, Superintendent of Cumberland County Schools. Dropped out? It's not too late to drop back in.
Thanks for joining us for this edition of Get Connected. Our guests are College Tech Prep Coordinator Pam Gibson and High School Connections Coordinator Mary Schmid. Pam and Mary, I should say Pam's been here, so Mary, welcome.
Thank you, thank you. I don't matter anymore.
Oh yes you do. You're my co-host. Come on now, don't act that way. Okay, now when we were talking with Carson when he was here.
Yes.
We were talking about tech prep, not tech prep, but I'm sorry, career technical and education program, and just about the committee and the newness. What's new? What's new as far as the program?
Well, we did talk about the committee, and some of the things that we identified that we have some gaps in are some STEM areas and information technology in particular. So for STEM, we are looking at expanding some courses called Scientific and Technical Visualization, it's a mouthful, into a couple of schools. We have it at one school right now, and we're going to add that. With information technology, we were looking at adding AP Computer Science, which would be an advanced placement course. And we also looked at what we are offering with FTCC through the High School Connections program. So one of the programs, the new programs with High School Connections, is going to be a certificate in computer programming visual basic. Okay. So trying to not only offer some new CTE programs, but also offer some new things through FTCC.
Okay, and that's where Mary comes in. Talk to us, Mary, about what is High School Connections?
Well, I think if we had to sum it up in one sentence, it's basically it allows the local high school students, juniors and seniors, to actually come up to Fayetteville Tech and take classes here tuition free, and they get high school credit and college credit at the same time. There's a lot more detail to it, but that kind of sums it up. Okay,
that's great. And about how many students are in the program?
I would say we have just under 400 this semester, and we've got about 425 for next semester. I'm new to the program, so my goal is to, with any luck, double those numbers for next year.
That's good, that's good. Now, okay, go right ahead.
Well, I was going to say, a lot of our audience members may have heard of something called Huskins before.
Yes, Huskins.
Because that term was around for a long time, and this is essentially still the same thing. Huskins was actually the name of the bill, and the legislation has changed, so the name has changed, but it's still essentially the same thing, the opportunity for the high school students to take college classes.
Okay, because I was about to ask you the background, you know,
yeah.
Why is there a need for this type of program?
I think it's a great idea to give the students some, advances. We've got some college transfer courses that they can take with us, and either bring them here then to Fayetteville Tech when they graduate and are a true college freshman, or they can take it on to the four-year university. We also have the career and technical education courses, and so instead of having to wait until high school graduation to start learning about carpentry, for example, they can actually do that their junior year. Why not give them a head start? It's a great way to go.
Okay, but that doesn't negate from what the carpentry classes or what have you we are teaching maybe at 71st
not at all.
Or wherever.
Not at all. When we look at what we're offering at FTCC to the high school students, we look at what are the programs that we cannot duplicate in every high school. So carpentry, for example. Carpentry would require a shop with lots of tools and things like that, and that's not something that we're easily able to duplicate in every high school. But I'm certain there are students in every high school who would be interested.
Okay.
So that's where FTCC comes in. They can make their facilities available. We can bring the students centrally to FTCC, and then they have the opportunity to take the courses that they can't get at their high school. Also, we look at the programs that we have in CTE and where do we need a next step for the students. Perhaps what we can offer in the high school, they can get done 10th, 11th grade, and then what can I do 12th grade? FTCC can offer the next step. For example, our drafting courses. We have drafting in most of our high schools. If I take drafting 1, drafting 2, then where do I go? I can come to FTCC and I can take the architecture technology program.
Okay, that's great. Now, if mom and dad are listening to this and they're thinking, wow, this would be great for Johnny or Donna, what, as far as transportation is concerned, how does that work? I mean,
we have evolved over the years.
Okay.
I will say that we've come a long way. And we do try to offer transportation to as many schools as we can. Most of our classes are designed within a time frame that ideally we can get the kids here, get them through their class here, and get them back to the high school in time to go home at 3:30 or whatever time. Obviously, we've got to have enough students from that school, but luckily we have been able to do that with most of the high schools, and I said we're hoping to continue that in the future. So,
now what about mom and dad who are sitting there watching and they're thinking, well, how will my child survive on a college campus around people who are older? And you know, I'm sure that concern has been raised.
Oh, certainly, certainly. Well, first of all, the high school connections, what we call high school connections, these courses, even though they are college level courses, taught at the college level, we don't water it down, these are courses that are set up just for high school students. So when they come on campus, for the most part, they are in classes with other high school students.
Okay.
So as a mom, I don't have to worry about my 16-year-old daughter being in a class with a 35-year-old man, and you know, that's just a mom thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's that, and then we also have monitoring, if you will, between Mary and myself, and we also have a gentleman, Mr. Culbreth, on campus who greets the buses every day when they come on board, and the kids know they can go to him. We have things in place to kind of make sure that the kids are doing okay. We check on them, and we get feedback from the instructors.
That's good. Now, what are some of our students saying about this experience?
I mean, I've only heard good things. They really like the opportunity to get that exposure to the college setting, ahead of time. It's a great way to save some money. I mentioned it's, the tuition is free for them. That's paid for through a state initiative. Why not do it?
Exactly.
So I think for the most part it's been really positive.
Now I know with that many perks, you can't just be doing the basics to get by in school. You really need to be doing some good things to be a part of the program.
There are some criteria.
Yeah, okay. What are they?
GPA.
Okay.
And we can't stress this enough, even starting as high school freshmen, they need to worry about that. We do have a minimum 3.0 GPA requirement. There are some testing requirements for various programs. So there are some things, and we really do want, our top students, but we also want the students that we can grab and really give them a head start on their post-graduation plans. So.
Okay. And if a person wanted to get more information about the program, how would they go about doing that?
Well, each of the public high schools locally have a high school contact person. Usually it's one of the counselors. We are in the process right now of trying to strengthen our relationship with the private schools as well. And pretty much anyone, if they have questions, can contact me. I'm here at Fayetteville Tech. We've got information on the Fayetteville Tech website. But for most students, if they'll go see their high school counselor, we've given them the tools to at least get the student started.
That's good. Now, what are you hearing? I asked you about what are the students saying. What are some of the instructors saying about the students?
The instructors really enjoy having the students come. They recognize the value as well. And because we get so many of the students, they get that start and then come after graduation and continue on in the programs. I was just hearing today about a student who was at one of our high schools. He had started the program in high school, came here after graduation, and when that school he graduated from brought a tour group recently, he was assisting the FTCC instructor with the tour group. And they got to see somebody who had just graduated from their school a couple years ago. Now he's in the program here, and it was a great transition piece there for the students to see that, and he was very excited about it.
That's great. That's phenomenal. And now with the program, are you all thinking about adding anything, any pieces?
Well, I mentioned that we are adding the computer programming certificate. We're also adding a new criminal justice certificate that is more law focused. We have one that is latent evidence, which is the crime scene investigation.
Oh, I'm sure that's a popular.
It is, but there are a lot of students that are more interested in the law, so it'll have courses like criminal law and constitutional law. And then we're also making available some of the programs that we can't fit into that afternoon time slot because of the amount of hours that are required and because of lab availability. But these are some of our trades programs that also have evening classes. So the students would have to have their own transportation, but we're going to make those available. So heating and air conditioning, welding, automotive, those will be some opportunities for students as well that'll be new next year.
That's great. Now, Pam, you've been around and you've seen how the program has evolved.
Yes.
What are you thinking? How are you feeling right about now about this program?
I am so excited about next year. We've had some bumps in the road, mostly due to legislative changes to the program, and we've had to make adjustments, and it's been a little confusing the last few years because there have been so many changes. But I feel like we've got a great program that we're getting ready to offer for next year, lots of opportunities, lots of choices for the students, and I just think next year is going to be a great year.
That's good. That's good. Now, Mary, you've been here in Cumberland County how many years?
I've been at Southview High School the last several years, and I was involved with the program there, so I think that was hopefully one of the strengths that I bring to the position now, is that I was familiar with it, and seeing it from the high school side and from the counseling standpoint, you know, I've got some ideas, some new things I'd like to do to try to really improve the program for next year, so I'm really excited.
Okay, I'm gonna be nosy. Give me one. Just give me one quick one. I'm looking at the clock on the wall. What are you thinking about as far as improving the program?
Something as simple as the enrollment form that we've used for years. I, as a counselor, felt like it was kind of redundant, some of the things that I was filling out, and so we have tried to streamline that, minimize it, make it simpler for the counselors. We'll be sharing that with them in our February meeting, and trying to, you know, see, hopefully that'll save them some time, which ideally lets them work with more students.
That's great. That's great. I tell you, you know what? I am looking at the clock on the wall, and I see our time is, this time goes so quickly.
It does. It really does.
And I still have like about 6 or 7 other questions to ask you, but you know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it this time. We're going to try to have you guys back, okay?
That'd be great.
I love that.
For your 15th time and your 2nd time, right, Mary? Yes. All right. Well, thank you all again. And you know what? I forgot. Is there anything you wanted to add real quickly?
Well, I just want parents to know that now is the time to go talk to your high school counselor to start looking at registering for the next school year. Now's that time.
All right. Okay. Well, with that, thank you. And on behalf of the Cumberland County School System, we want to thank you for tuning in to this edition of our show and for giving us a chance to help you get connected. Until next time.